Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 103, Familiar Feeling. And we can talk at the end about why it's titled Familiar Feeling. I think Minnie had a bunch of reasons which were really nice. And today we have Ocean and Fwoot.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, so starting us off, we have what Sopha's posted before, which is an image of all the main four falling down. And when you get to the end of the episode, you will see why this gorgeous image was included. So we start off with what happened at the last episode was that somebody cut off from the Phantom Scythe, cut the catwalk into two, separating Lauren and Kieran. They said, okay, we'll meet up later, which was like, okay, will they meet up later? And we have Lauren running with her gun, her arm, still like showing us that she's injured, going up to the roof. And she thinks to herself, over there, I'll go up and around. And meanwhile, up on top of her, unbeknownst to her, we see the messenger. Like he looks like a bat. He or she is just like crouching up there on the rafters with this giant stick in their hands. And I'm like, no.
He's just sitting there. He's just sitting there.
That's so funny. He reminded me of like a raven, because you know how people are always saying ravens are the messengers of death. That's kind of what that reminded me of when I saw like the mask with the beak there.
Yeah, very ominous looking. Not a happy sight. And Laura is just tapping along, unknowingly, and then suddenly she does detect the guy, the messenger, jumping down, swinging the bat at her face. She ducks, thank God, dodges, and she thinks like, what the? And she does her classic kick, kicks the messenger. I think the messenger hits something. I can't quite figure out all the panels, I will say. Maybe he does or doesn't, he or she does or doesn't, I don't know. But Lauren runs away and jumps on the railing. She's actually, she jumps on the railing, and then the messenger is jumping. She jumps to a different catwalk. And she does her flip. It's like a lot of actiony stuff. She is jumping to a different catwalk, and the messenger is jumping after her. She's shooting backwards. The messenger dodges all the bullets by running along the railing of the catwalk. These people are true ninjas. I have to say, I'm amazed none of them have fallen over to their deaths just from like their antics that they're doing.
I need to get on that parkour life. My brother does it. I'm always so nervous, but they're really doing well for themselves. So I should take some lessons from my brother.
In case you ever get chased on catwalks in a factory.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Lauren's like, basically she's like, how frustrating. This person isn't being like dissuaded by my great tactics. And messenger is just catching up on her. She throws some boxes at the messenger. Doesn't seem to be too effective. And meanwhile, Kim is observing from the ground, and she sees this Melee up on top there, and she's like, what? And her eyes are widening. At this point, the messenger, who I think we get to see some of their back now, right? Is that like their skin showing underneath the cloak?
Either that or like a white shirt or something like that underneath. I was thinking maybe.
Okay, I guess that makes more sense. Light color shirt. Yeah, so Lauren's going up the steps to the...
Oh, I think it's to their vest. You can see it in some of the previous panels. I think that they have, they're wearing like a brown vest, I believe. It's kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but I think that's what's under there.
So
okay,
Kim
I
is
guess
thinking,
you can. Go ahead.
So Kim is thinking back to what Will said, where he said that Loon got shot earlier. One of them saved us, one of them is down, and if it is who you think it is, and she looks and she sees like the arm shot, right? So she's like, oh my God, that's probably Lauren. And she thinks to herself, Loon, and then she's like, fuck, and she's trying to get her foot out from underneath this like catwalk, and she's just cursing and trying to get it out and really like just putting all her efforts in. And then you see this really, really, really emphatic black and white panel, just like sketches of her in total frustration, just trying desperately to get out from under there so she can help who she thinks is Lauren out.
It's a beautiful panel. Like, it's just black and white, and it really captures like the pain that Kim's in right now. Very good at portraying the emotion. I was surprised that Kim pulled her herself out, like, just by herself. Like, I thought she would need help.
That's that mama bear strength. That's what I call that. Just like, those stories where moms can like lift a car to get their kids or something.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. She's just thinking about Lauren. That's so crazy though.
Yep. And her foot is throbbing, and the throb part is in red, so like you can just really feel that pain, but she's not dissuaded, and her arm is bleeding, and she just grabs the closest weapon that she finds, and because she is in it for the fight, she is going to save her friend, and we love it. And it just really shows you again what like determination can do. I'm definitely a big believer in like the power of will. I think it's like the most powerful force that there is. And I'm very much a believer, if there's a will, there's a way in basically almost all circumstances. So I just love seeing that and how Kim is able to get herself out because of how motivated she is to help Lauren.
Purple Hyacinth, friendship is magic.
Yeah, so Ocean, you can take over.
All right, and now we see Lauren coming to the roof, and the Purple Hyacinth member coming behind. It's just very dramatic. It's raining, and it just looks very miserable, I have to say, up there. So she's thinking to herself, the roof, and I think her plan here, she's like, oh, like, fuck, I can't. I think she wanted to jump somewhere off or something like that. Is kind of what I got from that. But anyway, she turns around, tries to kick the other member, and he kicks the gun out of her hand. Or sorry, she tries to shoot him, and he kicks the gun out of her hands.
He's using her main tactic against her because she is apparently a big kicker.
Yeah, no. And then we see him push her down and start stepping on her gun wounds.
I was so angry when I saw that panel. I was like, how dare you? It's one thing if you want to kidnap her and like knock her out. Why are you twisting her wound? That's really not nice.
They're a messenger, Mindy.
Oh, but still, like, well, yes, this just makes me not like this person, which I don't know when you want to discuss the identity of this messenger, but if this messenger is Rafael and they know Lauren from when they were a little kid, it's just doubly wounding and stab in the heart.
Yeah, especially because it's not like she got like any good hits on him, I don't think, like particularly. She didn't shoot him, like he just really went for it there.
Right. So I wonder if that was like, we don't know who this messenger is and what their motivation is and what their personality is, but is this like part of, okay, I just have to subdue her? Or is this like, I'm a nasty person and I'm going to make her suffer?
Probably a mix of both. Like, because I don't know. They're either trying to capture her, right? Or they're trying to kill her because they only need one loon member, but we don't know what Kieran's up to, and we don't know if the Phantom Side knows what Kieran's up to. So, like, I don't know. Because it is a messenger, so you'd expect them to be ruthless, especially since, like, I'm also surprised that, like, the messenger is out on the field because, you know, they're such an important chess piece into all of the Phantom Scythe operations that I wouldn't expect them to do field work. So, like, they need to stay safe because just how important they are. So it's important that they're like bloodthirsty.
So do we want to discuss who we think the messenger is? Because
Okay,
now that
yeah.
I'm looking at these panels, I see what some people have been saying.
Yeah. Okay. I've had this theory for a couple months now, and I think I explained it on the last podcast, maybe. I think for 102. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I've explained it on podcast at some point. So in this theory, it's been widely like just assumed for like since we like saw Raphael's tattoo that he is the messenger. And I mean, it's valid because we saw the messenger's tattoo during the Carmen Camellia arc, and then we met, and then we like found out about Raphael, and then we found out about Raphael being in the circus and his tattoo. So, you know, puzzle solved immediately. It took like 3 episodes really from when we initially found out about Raphael. But the thing with that is that it's just a little too quick. And so after 91 came out and I was rereading, I just found it really odd that it was the messenger, so Raphael, right? Because that was common knowledge. We all thought it was Raphael, who was the one who snitched to Apostle 7. And it was like, okay, that doesn't seem very in character for Raphael, at least like to theories, because it has been theorized that he is trying to protect Will by staying emotionally distant. And we do know that he did care for Will when he left from his letter. So I don't think Raphael would like go out of his way to hurt the important relations of someone else when he doesn't really need to, because like if he didn't say anything, then no one would know. It'd be fine. Because like I'm sure he wouldn't have appreciated someone doing the same for him, like if someone saw like Will approaching him at the circus. So like I kind of went on a rabbit hole, and then I basically ended up with Athena is the actual messenger. And it's hard to tell because at the time the best panels I had of Messenger 7 were from the Carmen Camellia arc, where the messenger does look more masculine. However, if you look at the messenger in this episode, they technically, sorry, I still use he because most people are still like, it's Raphael. He definitely has more of a feminine build. So like, what if the messenger
Especially
isn't
here.
like a he?
This is super feminine.
Yeah. What if he isn't a he, but actually like a she, that being Athena? And I did this morning, I went through the messenger panels and I did a little bit of an analysis of them, where I compared like the messenger's build to Raphael's build and Athena's build. And you can definitely see it that the messenger in this episode looks a lot skinnier than Raphael. Not a lot, but like you can tell that they're like a bit slimmer and closer to Athena. Like they look more like Athena than they do Raphael.
I like it. I'm totally for the fact that I think Soap and F like love to put twists on us, so not gonna be surprised.
Yeah, no, that's a good call, especially with the placement of that the tattoo. I was thinking it was Raphael too, because I don't think I saw Athena's tattoo, or I can't remember where it was anyway.
Mm-hmm. We actually don't know the location of Athena's tattoo because she's every time that we've seen her, she's been wearing her coat. So that covers most of her body, including her arms and wrist. So if she did have a wrist tattoo, it would have been covered at all times.
Theoretically, it could be anyone else with the tattoo on their wrist, and we don't even know.
Yeah, but I'm
Why did
assuming Orpheus. Yeah, Orpheus has a tattoo in the same place as Eurydice because they share an act. I don't know where Artemis and Morpheus's tattoos are, but something curious is that Kieran, he has a scar on his right arm, and you can tell it's this huge scar. It's like he cut off a chunk of skin, or someone cut off a chunk of skin there. And what's curious about that is that where his scar is the exact same location of where Bella's scar, not her scar, where her tattoo is. So there is a theory that he was a part of the circus. So if he was a part of the circus, it is possible that that's where his tattoo was. And when he left the circus, he cut it off. Like he cut off the skin where the tattoo would have been. So he would have had a tattoo in the same location as Bella, which makes it possible for Athena and Raphael to have a tattoo in the same locations as well.
That's cool. I also wonder from the fact that this messenger was like grinding their knee onto Lauren's arm. I wonder if this messenger has a personal vendetta against Lauren and like doesn't like them personally, and then maybe it's someone who knows Lauren on a personal level, which now that like is like who could that be? Like,
Ooh, good point.
Mm.
I think, well, because the messenger recognizes her as Loon, it could be to just try and knock Lauren out unconscious, maybe. So like the messenger doesn't have to deal with them, but that's very true. It can't be, obviously it's not Kim or Will or Lucas because they're all at the site, but like it's not Sake, he's dead. We know, hopefully he's dead.
that would be a very wild theory if he wasn't dead.
Yeah, we saw his corpse, no worries, he's dead. But yeah, that's a good point. Oh, there was something. Oh yeah,
As I say all the time, we'll find out. It's like the classic line here. All the things we don't know.
I was also thinking, if it was Athena, it would make slightly more sense on why, as we'll see in just a little bit, why the messenger throws Kim off the roof. Because we do get a very specific scene where it's Kim and Athena, where the focus is Kim and Athena. And that's episode 51, when Athena asked for volunteers from the crowd during a Circus Royale like mini performance. And she takes Kim, right? And she gives Kim a paintball gun, and Kim has to shoot these targets, which are held up by Zephyr. And while Kim does that, Athena commentates. And I realized it, I think this morning, maybe it might have been last night. I think it was last night. And I was like, basically everything in PH has meaning. And so like, while that scene could have been to just further set up Athena and the rest of the Circus Royale, as well as remind us of how good of a shooter Kim is, it could have also been a scene where Athena would get to like observe Kim and learn about Kim, right? And since Athena would know about how good of a shooter Kim is, and like how she's just slightly more dangerous than a lot of other APD people, then it makes slightly more sense on why she would throw Kim off the roof so Kim wouldn't be able to further interfere, because she knows about Kim's abilities.
Athena also was very like negative and pejorative throughout. She was sarcastic throughout her announcing thing, and then after when they left, like it was just you could tell the circus people did not like the APD and were very prejudiced against them. So if it's Athena, she seems to have like a personal dislike for APD people, and like probably even for Kim, because she brought her up there wanting her to fail and wanting to humiliate her in front of the crowd, but then Kim succeeded, so that like probably made Athena feel, I don't know, put down or disappointed or something. So that would give her another personal reason to be angry at Kim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for that, I don't know, because like, I don't know if she would specifically be mad at Kim for that, because it does put on a good show, right? Kim being able to shoot all the targets. However, we do know that Athena did come from Grey Chapel, like most of the other Pantheon people, like Bella. I think that was part of the Pantheon's backstory, was how Redcliffe picked up a bunch of kids off the streets of Grey Chapel and trained them into the Circus Royale. So we know that, the APD in the Grey Chapel area are not the best people. So like, it's very likely that Athena herself just has the vendetta against the police, right? Because of her experiences and because of how she was treated when she was way younger by police there.
It also makes sense that her ego was slightly wounded when Kim got those shots, because she'd be a little bit upset. She kind of expected her to fail, and then everyone in her troop is just kind of like, oh, great, like, because they're obviously in like the Phantom sites, so they're trying to make a fool of the police when they ask them up there. So I like that theory. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, that's true, because they would maybe like they would want to make a fool of the APD, not just Kim, right? They would want
Yeah.
people to lose hope in the police, or just to lose faith, at least.
There we go. It's settled. This is Athena or someone from the circus with our
Well, that could be Rafael. We already know it's someone from the circus.
right.
I also saw a theory today that someone thought it could be Zephyr. Let me see if I can find what they were saying.
Because their experience with throwing people. Like, sorry.
I think it was okay. So like, because okay, so they're saying, I was thinking it could be Athena, but I feel like it could also be Zephyr. They're both skinny and seem like they'd use jump attacks the most, especially since Zephyr is a trapeze performer. Not to mention, Zephyr made direct eye contact with Lauren before, and it would be interesting if he recognized her eyes. I didn't think it would be Raphael, because Raphael used a gun, while the person who attacked Lauren used their hands and feet.
I can't remember. Did we see anyone in the circus doing like tightrope walking or something? Really, like they really were running on that railing there when Lauren was shooting at them.
Yeah, there was one person
I don't
doing
think
tightrope
so.
walking. I don't remember who it was.
We saw aerial silks, I think. But yeah, also like the messenger does some pretty messed up stuff in this episode. You know, like first hitting Lauren, trying to hit Lauren with a metal pole or something, metal tube, some metal bat, and then, kneeling on her bullet wound, right? And then throwing him off a building, like the very climax of it all. And that's kind of like, do you think Raphael would do that? Do we want Raphael to do that? Like, this is expected of the messenger. We shouldn't be surprised that the messenger would do this, because it's the messenger. They got the position of messenger somehow. But like, I think a lot of us in the fandom are rooting for Will and Raphael to reconcile and to like reunite and be happy together again, because they both still care deeply for each other. So I'm like, would we want Raphael to be throwing Kim off a building? Would we accept that? Would Will accept that?
Forgive that, yeah. I totally hear. It's like
I
you
can
always
see
say.
Sorry, what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's her future brother-in-law, if that is Will, throwing her off. Don't know if that'd be forgiven.
Yeah, so it's like what you say, that Kieran's killings are not people that we know, and that's why we're able to tolerate it. And when the authors want to have an emotional impact, it'll be with people that we know. So yeah, theoretically, like, we know, we can assume Raphael has done bad stuff, but if he does bad stuff to people that we know, then we get really angry.
Yeah, because it's basically, we're super biased. Because like when it's people we know, then we're able to relate to them. We understand their stories, we understand who they are, and they have an impact on our lives as well by like just existing and them being in our heads. But in real life too, when it's something that you don't know, or it's a situation that you really can't relate to, then it can be a lot harder to empathize and a lot harder to care. And yeah, it extends to both fictional worlds and, again, real worlds, and it is a bit of a problem sometimes, a lot of times. But yeah, I think if Kieran, like, if we got to know like just 3 of Kieran's victims, I think a lot of people would like Kieran a lot less. Like, if we just had maybe 2 to 3 episodes dedicated to 3 of his victims, like, oh, bye Kieran's popularity rate.
Yeah. True. Very, very, very true. Yep. Well, do you want to continue, Ocean?
Yeah. So we see the messenger choking Lauren, I think, and stepping on her gun wounds. See the blood coming and it's throbbing. Obviously she's crying. And then we see Kim come through and smack him in the head. Kim is the MVP. She has always been my favorite character. Love her. Obviously she got a really good hit, so you can see some blood there.
Sorry, I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Yes, go Kim. Lauren can finally get a breath again. And while she's catching a breath, we see Kim go at him again, the Phantom Scythe member. And he throws Kim off the building.
And it's such an irony because he was slipping before. Like he was at the edge of the roof and slipping. Like we got a panel just of his feet falling. And I was like, oh my God, is he gonna fall off? And then boom, like the reversal. Shizzle.
That was
It's like,
Uno reversal.
That was the ultimate Uno reverse.
Now this person has got skills because they were in the defensive position. They were falling backwards and Kim had a stick or whatever, right? And they went from there, like about to fall off the roof, or at least go against the edge of the roof on themselves, to like grabbing the bar and making her fall off the roof. Like that's, I mean, it's very bad, but it's also very good. Well done.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they have acrobatic training because they know, like, they have some good idea of how physics would work if they have the momentum to like pull Kim and throw her off the building.
I feel like the bat also gave them the leverage because when like you're falling and you grab something and you can kind of pull up. So like he was able to pull himself up, or she was, and then also throw Kim like almost in one movement, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Because like it seems like both of them were sort of in the air there, so like they were both moving, right? And then pull her a little bit farther and you basically have her like off the roof. So note to Kim, do not stay airborne for very long because then you'll end up airborne for a lot longer.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to continue with our like gripping, horrifying, heart-stopping panels?
I shall continue. So we leave on that one panel of like Kim just in the air and the messenger is running and Lauren is watching in horror and shock. And so the messenger escapes and we get this beautiful panel of Kim just through the air, and you can kind of feel like what it's like for Kim, and it's a bit of like time stopping almost. Like just it's like a full body shot and like nothing's touching her. She's just complete free fall.
How did you guys, when you guys saw this panel, what were you thinking? What were you feeling?
Internal panic. I was like, Kim cannot die right now. I was like wondering why the messenger left. I was wondering why the messenger left, first of all, without taking Lauren with them.
Yes,
That's
I was also curious.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was in my mind.
Yeah. When I saw this, I didn't think that. Well, I didn't know if Lauren. I was like, there was doubt in my mind on whether Lauren would be able to catch her because Lauren would have to like lean over the railing, right, catch her with one arm, and then the other arm would have to like hold on to that railing so like she doesn't like slip over as well, right? And Lauren only has one good arm right now, and we just saw the messenger kind of like dig into that wound a little more. So I was like, if Will doesn't catch Kim at the bottom, like bridal style, I'm quitting this web because like I thought that she was literally going to fall to the ground and break her spine and die or something.
Yeah. When I saw this panel, I was like, oh, are they going to actually kill Kim?
Yeah.
Because we talked about like basically having no stakes in a story. If you know that all of your characters are going to survive, it's too safe. And you don't get that anxiety that comes with the uncertainty of, how bad are things going to get? So I have a feeling, even though, the authors like to say, oh, we're going to serve you tears, I do have a feeling the main four will survive and that there won't be like too much tragedy at the end, based a lot on how they acted in this arc, honestly. Because before this, I was like, oh, they're going to kill people. But at this point, because they're keeping everybody safe, I do think that they're not going to kill off main people and it's not going to be quite so tragic. But before all that happened, before this, I was like, oh my God, are they going to actually kill her? And but yeah, that didn't happen.
Well,
I
I
was
have to
I
say,
don't know.
sorry.
Oh.
Go on.
Sorry, Ocean, you can go.
I was just gonna say, like, Kim is just like the light of this webtoon. She is like the comic relief besides like the lamp lady and the butler. Like, if Kim leaves this webtoon, it's gonna be a whole lot darker, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, Mindy, on what you were saying, like, I did like going into this arc when we expected like a mid-season, I was like, they're not going to kill anybody. Like, it's going to get intense. Maybe some people are going to get shot, but it's the mid-season of the second season. I don't think they would kill anyone like super important. And then this happened, and it was like, oh my God. Wait a minute. Was I played? Would they actually kill someone at like mid-season of the second season? Because like I would expect more of something like a plot point revealed or like a bigger twist, right? Maybe some emotional climax as we see in a few panels, but like not one of the 04 dying, because like that's something that you would save for a finale of a season. But thankfully, Lauren catches Kim with I think it's her left arm that's wounded, yeah. But then Kim slips out of her grasp. She catches it in her right hand, and it's like, oh wow, personally, I was like, okay, Kim's done for.
Yeah. It was like that's how it was. It was like, oh my God, she's dying. Okay, she's saved. Oh my God, she's dying. Okay, she's saved.
A roller coaster if I've ever seen one. So Kim slips, and then we get this blurred panel of Lauren looking incredibly scared and panicked, and it's from Kim's perspective, and you can see in the next panel of Kim that her eyes have gone dull.
No, this was so emotional. Oh my gosh. Like,
I also don't know
all-
if you guys have realized this, but Lauren's reflection is in Kim's eyes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That was amazing.
If you like zoom in, you can see like the silhouette of Lauren in her mask.
Oh.
And Kim's still reaching out, and then Lauren reaches out again with her left arm, which is the wounded arm, and her eyes like have gone basically white, like she's in a ton of pain, and then she catches Kim's wrist just barely, and then grabs onto her arm with her good hand, and she pulls her back up onto the roof. And
I really thought that they were both gonna fall off at this point because it's so slippery. I thought she was gonna fall off with Kim.
Same. Like it's like, I don't know, like if she's leaning over the railing and she puts too much weight forward, and like she's just gonna topple over. But yeah, they stumble backwards. Kim collapses onto Lauren, and Lauren just hugs Kim, like just holding her tightly.
I'll have to take a moment to shed some tears, people. How much did this hit your heart?
Really hard. I think it was like, personally, it's one of my favorite moments of the entire arc. Like, I know I'm gonna get like slack for this, but I think this moment is better than the Loki moment in the last episode.
I knew you said
Like, yeah, it had that build up, right? And like Kim and Lauren have been friends for so long, and we were all just waiting for Kim to finally get that moment of like realization. or like that moment of like just confrontation, I guess, with Lauren, in acceptance of this is who Lauren is, and Lauren accepts that Kim knows that she is Loon. And we've had like 3 fake outs this season, I believe, or not this season, in this arc, where we had like 96, where Kim and Lauren go face to face, but the red lighting stops Kim from realizing. Then we have 98, where Kim tries to arrest Lauren. Still, those two don't get their moment. And then we have 99, where Kim almost unmasks Lauren, but then the PS interrupts. But finally, after 3 attempts, fourth time's the charm. And it was done. I don't really like the first part of this arc, but the second part of this arc has been really good, and it was really nice seeing them like embrace here.
Love it.
Yeah, these panels are so beautiful where it flashes back to all the time, well, not all the times, but a lot of the times where they've had like really intimate moments, and it's just really sad. It really got me going. I read all this morning, so it was a great way to start my day. I didn't even need coffee. Just got me going.
Yeah,
It looks like Lauren's crying also. We have these sounds of like which I'm like, thank you, Lauren. Like, I'm the biggest fan of when people break down emotionally. Sorry, I know this is like my I don't know, my most favorite human experience, to like break down emotionally, because I think that's when you experience life most vividly and you recognize what's important to you. And when everything is just, I don't know, that's my personal favorite experience. And I'm so happy to see Lauren crying, because Lauren is a little bit out of touch with her feelings, and she's very closed off, and she doesn't ever release them. And I'm so happy to see her release them. And like, this is like, she's been carrying around so much anxiety, so much worry, so much pressure, not just for like Dylan and all the 10-year stuff, which she's carried around for years, but also the recent pressure of being Loon and hiding it, blah, blah. And like, she's finally letting it out. Like, she's doesn't have the resources to keep it in anymore. She just almost lost her best friend, who, you know, like almost died because of her or whatever, basically rescuing her. And she's finally like letting that emotion go, where she just can't hold it back anymore. And it's so beautiful to see. I love it.
mm-hmm. This might be the first time that Lauren's cried since Canvas Purple Hyacinth. Like, since Purple Hyacinth was on Canvas. Like, I don't think we've seen her cry except from like Allendale. Maybe.
In the boxing scene, like after she boxes after 43, like in 44.
But like,
but it's not
like
sobbing. It's just like tears running.
Yeah. It's just
and there's
like,
also, I think, doesn't she, when she wakes up from that dream, doesn't she have some tears running down her face also? For the dream with Dylan?
I don't know. I think she clasped her fist. I don't remember if she does cry there, but like full on sobbing, basically. This is, yeah. And so Lauren is just holding on to Kim tightly, and her arms aren't like, she herself isn't holding Lauren, but her arms are kind of around her a bit. And Kim just looks absolutely shocked. I'm pretty sure Kim was just like accepting death for a minute there, moment, as she was falling. And as Kim is being held, she flashes back to a bunch of panels or older moments that she had with Lauren, and she sees the scene from her and Lauren outside of the cafe. She sees herself hugging Lauren after Lauren comes back from facing the Purple Hyacinth. She sees herself crying, like as a joke, with Will in the background, and she sees herself again hugging Lauren from episode 50. She flashes back to their meeting and to when they went to the bar together, like in episode 82. And then she flashes back to her kind of piggybacking off Lauren, and Kim closes her eyes and hugs Lauren too.
And I think almost all those memories are where they were hugging or touching. Like, so I feel like that was her body reliving the physical sensation of being hugged by Lauren. So she's like, yeah, this is her. This is definitely her. Like, I know what it's like.
That's
Mhm.
what I was thinking here too. She looks like she's just processing when she's thinking about all this. And she's like, oh, this feels familiar. Like, I know this touch. Like, I know this energy. So there's even like a scene where they're not touching and it seems to like spark her remembering just Lauren in general.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that.
And that
And
last one, like this panel here, she seems to be like experiencing like a feeling of closeness and closure and relief. Like closure as in like, oh, I know for sure it's finally, I know now that is Lauren. And maybe I think the relief to me comes from the fact that she's like, yes, Lauren might have been doing loon stuff, and I might be like very nervous about what that means because it's like she's in association with the Phantom Sites, she's doing vigilante justice. Like, who knows what that has made my best friend? Like, who is she now? But I think that relief is like Lauren, even if she's loon, is still my friend, and she's still someone who cares about me, and she's still the same person that I know and love, and I don't have to be worried about like what has she become now that she's loon. At least that's what I read in her relief.
mhm. Yeah, same here. I just noticed something. You can see that the rain lets down and you can see the sun shining through when Kim finally embraces Lauren as well. But if you look at the reflection, you can see that it's the panel from before when Kim hasn't fully embraced her yet. I don't know if that's a mistake or if there's some deeper meaning behind that. I'm gonna hope it's a mistake. Yeah, the
That's a
reflections
good
do not line
observation.
up.
Well, if it is, you caught it.
So then we cut to, I believe it's Kim's radio, and we see attention, all officers in action. Chief Sinclair has arrived with more backup. Sending in extraction team, Sergeant Liddell, please confirm your location. And Kim says, I'm on the rooftop on the eastern side of the factory. And then the radio says, confirmed, extraction unit arriving in 2 minutes. And Lauren's eyes look a little bit dull as she looks up to Kim, and Kim looks her straight in the eyes and she says, go, get out of here, Loon. And Lauren, I believe, clutches her arm, maybe tries to stand up. It's kind of hard to tell. And Kim says, do you want to get arrested? And Lauren's eyes widen at that, realizing that like Kim is giving her an out right here, even after she tried to arrest her herself. And
I
so
think that's
Lauren,
that questioning look. I think that's the dead look that you said that she has. I think it's because she's like, oh shoot, like, oh, Kim is gonna want me arrested because she arrested me before. And she's like, now she's like questioning, like, what? You want me to go?
mhm, yeah. And so Lauren closes her eyes, grabs a gun, and runs to the stairwell, leaving Kim alone on the rooftop. And Kim says, please get out of here while you still can. And the last panel is her saying, Lauren.
Uh-oh. Whew.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been wondering all season what Kim was going to do because I kind of had a feeling that she was going to be the first one to figure out Lauren was Loon just because how close they are and how they're always together and she knows that she's acting weird. So I've been wondering, is she going to turn her in if she figures it out or is she going to let her go? So that was such a relief and also kind of scary because I feel like Kim is going to be put in a weird situation now.
Gosh, yeah. Right? Like, how's the questioning gonna go? What was your interaction with Loon, and what did you see, and who are they? It's gonna kind of be parallel what Lauren did with the purple hyacinth. She's like, yeah, I saw the purple hyacinth, and she gives a brief description, but she omits a lot of details. So I wonder if Kim will do the same thing.
Do you think Kim is gonna tell Will? Like that it is Lauren? Or do you think she's gonna be like, so I went face to face with the Loon member who I thought was Lauren and it wasn't her. Do you think she'll like tell him that it's not Lauren. Because I think if she does, Will is still going to remain suspicious and he might try to do some investigating on his own despite that. And then he might feel betrayed when he finds out that Kim did lie to him. Or do you think she'll be truthful to Will? Because like he helped her try to arrest Loon, right? In episode 98. So he didn't have that. So far, he hasn't had that moment where he's like, okay, maybe arresting Loon right now isn't the best idea. So he hasn't had that moment yet. And he hasn't had that moment like where he willingly, like, where it's obvious that he doesn't want Loon to be arrested. So do you think she would actually tell him that it's Lauren?
I think that she's gonna tell him and be honest, because they kind of have to work together here in the story. Because I can't remember. I know Will was bringing Lucas out because he had gotten shot, but we don't know if he saw the Phantom Scythe member chasing Lauren. Because if she says, "Oh, I got chased up there by the member, and that's why I was on the roof," and Will says otherwise, like it's kind of gonna draw suspicion to them if their stories don't match up.
Yeah, I think she will. I hope she will. Because we want all of them to be able to trust each other. And it would just be devastating if they couldn't trust each other. So I hope so. But yeah, I mean, I definitely would understand both ways, because I don't know if Will is as trustworthy. But listen, we were shocked by Kim. I mean, even like with the fact that Kim was like willing to arrest her, we were shocked. We were like, oh, for sure Kim's gonna let her go. And ultimately she is, but I think that's only because it took the whole drama of Lauren saving her and recognizing that, Lauren is my friend and she does care for me, and I'll let this go.
Yeah.
We've also had so many scenes in the previous chapters of Will and Kim opening up to each other. So I feel like it's gonna just either make them closer or kind of start to drift apart, depending on what they choose to do together, if she is honest with him.
Yeah, like, I mean, they've worked pretty well in the season, right? But it would be kind of interesting to see them like become a bit more divided. Like we saw like a bit of it in episode 63, I think, when Will tried to, like, where he was like, oh, I need to fix this. I need to fix your pocket watch. But Kim was like, it's always been broken. And they got into a little bit of a fight there. I'm wondering if that's like foreshadowing to like something else that might happen in the future that they might come to like a disagreement with. Because like Kim at least has sort of finished her mission as Soleil, right? She's figured out who Loon is, although she hasn't reported, or one person, although she hasn't reported the identities. Also, at this point, she probably knows Kieran is Loon, right? Because, like, who else would Lauren be going on midnight dates with if not for her boyfriend?
I don't know about that, because I feel like it could. I don't know why if they would suspect Kieran. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I just don't think that. But the only thing connecting her and, well, yeah, the truth is they did have a very suspicious dating. Yeah, that didn't seem to make sense. So, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because like Kim was taking notice of how tired Lauren was, right? And so when the explanation came up that, oh, she was just like meeting Kieran late at night, right? Because they were dating in quotations. She's gonna realize that how would Lauren have time for these dates if she was busy being Loon, right? So her midnight dates would have to be her going out and being Loon with someone, and that probably being her boyfriend in quotations. So like I think she'll figure it out. That was Kieran. But then she's gonna get obsessed with Kieran, right? Because she's gonna be like, okay, if Lauren's the APD member of Loon, then who is Kieran? Because he has to be Phantom Scythe. So Ooh, that's interesting, especially with like,
All started right after Lauren encountered the purple eyes.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that too. And then like, there's a theory that like Lauren is gonna get kidnapped by the Phantom Scythe and Kieran's gonna get kidnapped by the APDs, or kidnapped. I don't know if the APDs got to do that, but maybe.
Apprehended.
Yeah.
Taken under custody.
There's that theory. And so like if Lauren's away from the scene, Kieran's gonna be all by himself. And so this would give him time to bond with Kim and Will. However, Kim's gonna have that suspicion of who the hell is this guy? Like what? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, the Kieran and Kim friendship is superior, but like she's also going to be really suspicious of him for a while until it's revealed that he is the Phantom, not the Phantom Scythe. What he is the Purple Hyacinth.
I mix up Phantom Scythe and Purple Hyacinth all the time, by the way, so don't worry. Like that, I'm saying not just like in terms of saying the words. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So.
I think that Kim is gonna want to believe that Karen's a good person until she figures out that he's the purple hyacinth, just because of how many people he's actually killed. I think her sympathy's kind of gonna go out the window there. Um,
Yeah.
so it's kind of
Until she
hard
gets to
because I
know
feel
more.
like, sorry, what?
Yeah, until she gets to know him more, just like Lauren did.
It's still
Mhm.
hard though, because I mean, he murdered so many people. Does he just get to get away with that now? Like, I feel like that's kind of up in the air. I feel like they might want to give Lauren a pass and then turn Kieran in. I feel like that could be a possible season finale potentially.
Yeah, I could also see it where Kim is like, where, she kind of beefs with Kieran for a little bit because of him being the Purple Hyacinth. She doesn't reveal his identity, but she just does not trust him at all. But then something happens, right? And like Kieran helps her out in some way, and she's like, fine, if Lauren trusts you, then so do I. And I guess you're okay. And that's yeah, that's when they can go become friends. Because I don't think that like they're gonna have, I think they'll have a good relationship, like Kim and Kieran. But I think it's gonna be held back until the point where Kim knows who Kieran is. Because like, I mean, Kieran is kind of putting on a facade a lot of the times, like, and I think we talked about this before, but like Kieran can never really have any true genuine relationships because no one knows who he is. And if he wanted to have a genuine relationship, the other person would have to be aware of his occupation as an assassin, because if not, it's not genuine. So,
Yeah, and I think Lauren is the closest to that. I think that she's probably the closest person to him that we know of in the comic anyway. So I feel like she's really gonna fight for Kieran when they figure out that he's the second person in Loon.
yeah, I mean, that could also be a way of defending Kieran, right? Because we're all like, what is Kieran gonna do? Is Kieran gonna die at the end, or like, is he gonna just live out the rest of his life in jail? But if Kim gets to know Kieran, and like if they have like that relationship, she may be able to like learn more about the Phantom Scythe, and maybe she learns about how like technically what Kieran has done wasn't really his choice, right? Because it's kind of ordered by the PS. Not much free will going on here. So like, I don't think they would take Lauren's word for it, right? And they wouldn't take her testimony, but maybe they would take Kim's.
Yeah, that's true. Because wasn't there a theory? I don't know if it was confirmed or not, that he was one of the children that was like taken and kind of like grew up with the Phantom Scythe. So, I mean, he grew up in that kind of environment, so it's kind of no wonder that he's doing what he's doing. So maybe if he gives the police information, it'll be kind of one of those cases where they drop his charges if he brings in bigger members of Purple Scythe, of the Phantom Scythe.
Mhm.
point.
Yeah, I
That's a
was
good way
also
out.
thinking, yeah, I was thinking like, would they, like, how long and how, or like how much jail time would Kieran serve if he brought in the freaking leader of the Phantom Scythe? Or was it like at least responsible for the demise of the like leader? Like, I mean, would they actually like charge him that like with the ton? Because they would have like, I don't know, Lauren and Will and Darcy would probably like pool their money, get like the best lawyer in all of Artalis or something, right? They're stacked. They have money. They would get the best lawyer. That lawyer's probably gonna do like one hell of a representation for him in court, right? And then they probably also get one for Bella too. So that lawyer can point out how like, they didn't have much choice here, like not free will. And while the court I would see them being skeptical, like ultimately I don't see Kieran and Bella living like a life in prison.
That would be a very happy ending. Yeah. How would we get our ships together? Is Lauren just going to visit Kieran in jail every day?
The other sad thing is, I feel like Lauren's gonna lose her job. Like she already has a strike against her for going at Tim's sake or Tim's sake. So I feel like if they actually find out that Lauren was the second member of Loon, like her career is over.
I mean, is it though? Like maybe the like police wouldn't want her, right? The government run agencies wouldn't want her. But if it was public information that she was Loon, someone who I think a lot of the public does indeed like and are supportive of, like, I mean, she's gonna have a lot of opportunities because she was Loon, like maybe for private detective agencies or something like that. Probably not government run.
The way things are going
That's a
now,
good
I feel
point.
yeah. So like the way things are going now, I don't think that they're gonna get apprehended as Loon. I think that it's going to be like back to normal, and they'll only be discovered as Loon at the end of the story after they've taken down the Phantom Scythe. At which point, they will be recognized as having good intentions and be appreciated rather than reviled.
Mm-hmm. But okay, that raises the question: like, is is Lauren going to be able to return to the office? Like, I mean, she was shot in the arm, like, and people are gonna be like, hey, wasn't one of the members of Loon shot there? And like, Lauren, where were you during the whole like when we like surrounded the factory building? Like, where were you? What were you doing? And like Tristan has to know that she's Loon, right? Because every time that she's absent, Loon is off being active, right? And he lives with her. Like,
Yeah.
he would know, like, if Lauren's not home one evening, the next morning, like, the first thing he's going to find out about is the new Loon member or new Loon mission infiltration thing. So, like, he has to know it's her.
Yeah, if he was a regular person, I would say maybe he doesn't connect the dots, but he's the chief of police. I would think he is pretty intelligent. So you can't.
Also, yeah. And he lives with her. He knows when she's gone, right? So,
I
like,
mean, unless he just like actually goes to sleep at a normal hour and is like sleeping all the time and has no idea when she goes in and out. But yeah.
maybe. Also, like, we were joking about it last night. We were saying like Herman's gonna like grill Lauren on where she was and why she wasn't helping out. And she's just gonna gaslight him into oblivion. She was like, "Oh, I was there the whole time. You just didn't see me. I was fighting. I pulled Lucas out of the factory. It wasn't Will, it was me." Like,
And I got shot by a Phantom Scythe member, by the way.
yeah, like, you didn't see that? Wow, you're such a bad boss. Like,
That would be funny. They always say, right? The best lie is as close to the truth as you can possibly get it. So there we go. Anyway, any final thoughts on this chapter before we conclude?
I don't, yeah, I every chapter I hope a little bit more that Lauren gets captured by the Phantom Scythe, because again, she can't go back to the office yet because of her injury. So like, she has to be doing something. But if she suddenly takes a leave, then that's going to be very suspicious, especially if she's like still around, right? And people know where she is. However, if she goes missing, right, then people, not really her fault. So
I noticed you got top comment on webtoon Fwoot, so congrats for that.
thank you. It was I was
Aw.
just screaming. I didn't think it would actually get top comment, but
When do you put these comments? Like what time? Like 9:01 or like like how fast do you have to comment to get top comment?
pretty
Not 9:01,
fast. Like
whatever it was for you, 6:01. Mhm.
like you have to do it very quickly. Like as soon as you finish the chapter, like it's really hard because it's like you need, if you're like seconds like too late into posting it, you know, people probably won't see it. So you have to like time it right, and then you have to like emotionally resonate with people, I guess. And then sometimes has to be something funny that people will relate to. But it also has to be at the top of your head because you know you're on like the clock. So
It's a tough job, huh? Getting top comment.
yeah.
This is your second time, no?
My third, I believe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
That
got
should
it.
be-
I got it episode 87, 91, and then now I can add 103 to that.
Nice. I've often wondered, like, I'm like, should I race through the episode to try to do it? First of all, I'm usually never on the episode right when it releases. Like, I'm always doing stuff. But I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I don't know. I really want to like just read it like at a good pace. Like, I don't want to run through it. But I think there was one one of the new series that Webtoons released that I happened to have been one of the first ones to like. I was on Webtoons at the time, and I think I was like one of the first ones to read it. I don't even remember which series it was. I remember I was definitely like the first comment or something. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I'll get top comment, but I don't even remember which one it was. And I can't go back and check.
Ooh, rip.
Oh, well.
I mean, I guess you could scroll through all the like new series, right? And look at the first episodes and just like scroll all the way back.
Yeah, it's probably only a list of like a couple. And I'll probably remember if I look up the recent ones that came out, I'll probably be like, okay, it's probably one of these four. So
Yeah,
maybe.
That's just
Uh-huh.
incredible. I don't have enough time to like read the whole comic and process it and then say something witty. Like my first reaction is to just detail it, and then I get there and I'm like processing. I'm the person liking everyone's comments, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes.
for actually like for the episode 87 comment, it was a response to the comment section of 86 and 67, because like there was a lot of Darcy hate, like more hate than you would expect, especially in like, well, in both comment sections. Like we didn't even know Darcy after like 67, and people were just hating on her, and I remember it vividly. So I don't think I commented under 86 because I was literally in shock. Like I was crying because I love her character so much. Like I just forgot to comment. So when 87 rolled around, I had a little thing like just ready to copy and paste into it. And so I just copied and pasted it and got top comment. And then for 91, I didn't know what to say. So I just compared Apostle 7 to the blonde character from Castlevania because I didn't know his name. I now know his name because I binged the series, because Redcliffe inspired me to watch Castlevania. It's a very good show. But yeah, I now know that his name is Alucard. And then this chapter I was just screaming.
Well, ladies, I am very tired. So I will sign off. Thank you so much for coming on. It was great. I'm glad the Zoom worked.
Thank you for having us, as always.
Yes, thank you, Mindy. That was a lot of fun discussing this chapter.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love this. This recording was very fun.
Yep, it totally was. Well, thanks so much. Have a wonderful night. See y'all later.
Good night,
Bye.
Mindy.